On tonight's episode of Fandom United, shut up, yes, I am wearing the same clothes. We're going to talk about Morbius, the living vampire, and what this means for the future of the Spider Verse at Sony and the MCU. But before we do, let's check out the trailer.
Michael, I've known you since you were a child. You're a gift. You always have. If there's an answer to your disease, you'll find it. I should have died years ago. Why am I still here if not to fix this? I have a rare blood disease, and I'm running out of time. This could be my last chance.
You're up to something. What is it?
It's not exactly legal.
I want to see you get hurt more than you already have.
This would be a cure.
At what cost? Michael, what's happening?
I went from dying to feeling more alive than ever. Increased strength and speed. The ability to use echolocation. And an overpowering urge to consume blood. How far are we allowed to go to fix something that's broken? Until the remedy is worse than the disease.
Michael Morbius. Got tired of doing the whole good guy thing.
What's up, Doc?
All right, well, we all just watched it. So now it's time to give our thoughts on, I don't know, what we saw and how we feel about it. You know what, Rich? I'll start with you.
I didn't like it. No, I did. It got my attention. You know, I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about Jared Leto being the villain or being in any superhero movie again. I was not a fan of that Joker, and as much as I hated that Joker before and then after I saw the movie, still hated it. I love him as Morbius as much as I hated the other one. That polar opposite. It was like, wow, this looks like this is a superhero character that this dude can pull off. So I'm excited to see what they do. And there are people out there who cut trailers. They can make garbage look like a good movie with a great trailer. Again. But this one has my attention. Something that I really didn't care so much about. I'm ready to see this.
I'm torn because I wanted to hate it. I wanted to hate it. I really did. Because I'm not a Jared Leto fan.
You're a grumpy old man.
No, I
that
just
wants to throw rocks at kids as they walk past you.
Because I
seen him do it.
Fair enough. I don't know. I'm really not a big fan of everything Sony has done with Spider-Man, but I'm not the biggest fan of everything Marvel has done with Spider-Man either. So it's just kind of like, yeah, you know, it's like I can't win. I can't win with Spider-Man. I just can't. I'm not a fan of Jared Leto at all. His Joker really, I never wanted to see him in a comic book movie again. But this looks like he found his role. RDJ found Tony Stark. Jared Leto looks like he's found Dr. Michael Morbius, and it looks like he's in the role he's supposed to be in. It looks interesting, I will say, to be, I don't know, kind of an obscure Spider-Man villain. He's just, or anti-hero. Morbius is not the one I would have thought.
I'm just glad they didn't do Smythe. You know,
Yeah, but okay. If you had, fair enough. But if you had the Sony license, you own Spider-Man's license.
And you got like, what is it, 500 characters
I
to
don't
choose
know
from?
if Morbius is the one I would have gone with. I don't.
Craven, maybe?
you know what though? Okay, look at Iron Man. Seriously, who would have thought that that would be the thing that put Marvel on the map? As far as movies.
I don't think Morbius is gonna put Sony on the map. But
No, I agree, but I mean, okay, hey, I'm glad that they're taking something that, you know, last time we were talking about taking chances with movies. This is a chance. I want to see where they go with it.
Yeah.
all right, Aaron, how do you feel about it?
If the movie sucks, I will say whoever cut that trailer did a phenomenal job because I could care less about Morbius before.
It's the
same guy.
same thing with New Mutants.
No, it's the same guy that cut the Rogue One trailer.
No, it's not because there's a pattern. It wasn't there.
Because there's no pattern in. Okay, never mind.
I was not interested at all until I saw the trailer, and
I'll agree
I
with that.
legitimately do think I'm gonna see the movie.
And I'm a Spider-Man guy. Like, I'm a comic book guy. I love Spider-Man.
You love Venom.
Never cared about Morbius. Whenever Morbius would show up in the book, I'm like, I don't care. Flip. Next. So, yeah.
But my thought, well, the first thing that popped in my head, and I know this is a weird thought pattern, but Leto is a method man. He loves to do method acting. And I saw that shot where it showed him like deathly, sickly, skinny, ill, and then flipped to him being, ripped after he became the vampire. And I said they could have done that with CGI. They could have done that with special effects.
But you
I
think he
guarantee you, Leto went method and
Which, I mean,
almost killed himself and then went to the gym and buffed up afterwards.
which is good and bad, right? But, I mean,
I'm sure that is horrible for your
bad
body.
for- horrible for you. But, I mean, ask Christian Bale, because I think he had, when he did The Pianist, he had
The what?
The Pianist.
Okay, there we go.
And then
Say a
he
little
went
bit
from
quicker,
there.
though. What was his name? Like, say his
No, it
first
wasn't
again?
Christian Bale. It was Adrian Brody.
Yeah, no,
No.
The Machinist. Was,
Machinist.
Was it The Machinist?
Yeah,
Christian
The Machinist.
Bale, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
where he was, I'm thinking Adrian Brody. But The Machinist was Christian Bale, where he was super skinny. Then he went right into Dark Knight, where he had to buff up. And he talked about the health problems that he had doing that. So I know it's not, I mean, those extremes, it's just not good for you.
Right.
Period. It's just not. Whether you like the guy or not, I don't wish ill on anybody.
I keep
On
thinking of
camera.
that Nikki Glazer quote
Yeah.
from that Comedy Central roast when she's like, we've lost some grades. It's time that we start losing some just okays.
yeah. I'm gonna be nice because I don't. So yeah, if he did, kudos to him. But still, then I hope the movie's good for his body's sake.
And then-
Because
And then
yikes.
how more method did he go? If he's playing a vampire, did he try to taste blood to see what it tastes like, to see how he could live off a diet?
Oh, you know that cat did. That dude's so
I know,
weird.
man.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. I mean,
Like
when you
I
hear
should
the
have just
stories-
enjoyed the trailer, but after
can't.
I was thinking in my head, I was like, what weird ways did Jared Leto take
Think
this
about-
character?
Think about all the stories that came out about him during the filming of Suicide Squad. I
Right,
mean, he
that's-
pissed off the entire cast. I think Will Smith wanted to kill him. Like, literally finds some real bullets for the Deadshot gun, and he was going to go and method act in Jared Leto's face. Because there's something about it. He sent somebody like a pig's heart once.
There's a used
and
condom. I
some
know that
used
was wrong.
Filled condom.
It's like, what is wrong with you? So, getting into the character and being this individual, okay, you could talk about the art and blah blah blah. That's his acting, and it's just an excuse to be crazy. I don't want to think about what he did to get in character for this film. There's some girl walking around Hollywood right now with puncture marks in her neck, puncture wounds, because he
Had to get that plasma on.
hit her up on he hit her up on Freaky Tinder and was like, hey,
Can I bite you?
yeah, let's
Learning about spirit cooking and all that.
It's just very good.
Yeah, search that one out. Welcome to the
or-
conspiracy part of the show.
Or don't. All right, John.
One of these
what do
days
you-
we'll
Yeah,
get
don't go there. That's a
deep.
deep rabbit hole. It gets dark.
dark fast.
Darker than the real
Really
Ghostbusters.
Maybe we'll save that for like.
No,
That'll be our Halloween
If we
episode.
give him that pedestal, then we got to give John his wrestling pedestal. So it's never gonna happen.
My toy
either
store.
way.
Come on.
It's never gonna happen either way.
I brought all you guys in.
So,
Except I
John, what do
didn't know
you what do you think about the trailer, John?
I like the trailer.
All right,
Honestly.
well, that's what John.
No, I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it. I like
These are the remarks
You know,
by
It
John.
reminded me of wrestling. Let me talk about it.
I like the
outfit could've
trailer.
been tighter.
I really like the trailer. It has my first weekend money, and then when I saw Michael
Really?
Keaton, it has my first day money.
Yes, that's a good point. Now, okay, so moving on into that, it could be. It's not confirmed, but it could be Adrian Toomes. I think it's probably a good chance that it is. Michael Keaton reprising his role as Adrian Toomes.
They
for a
wouldn't have
cameo.
bothered showing him if it wasn't.
I'm
Unless
just
it
saying.
was.
I'm just saying. I don't know how.
Because
that's
that
all
kind of
locked up.
MacGuffin, if you go in there and you see that and then you're like, wait, he wasn't, then that would just piss you off.
Yeah, if he's like
that would do
Adrian
nothing else
Doomes
but
or
piss you
something.
off.
Yeah.
Right.
So I see no other reason for them to show him except for the
But
fact
it
to
was
say,
it
hey,
was that. Well,
Vulture's in
first
here.
they showed Morbius walking through the alleyway with the poster that had the Sam Raimi Spider-Man suit with the word murderer on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think he was ever accused of murder in the Sam Raimi movies. Well, first of all,
Killing Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other
Okay,
than
so
that,
basically-
Because his kid thought that he
But-
was responsible.
well, here's the thing. So, and now I think it's funny that they used a screenshot from the PlayStation 4 Spider-Man game for the suit. That wasn't from the movies. That was a shot from the game. But I think that in post, I bet they put Tom Holland's suit in there
Oh, no doubt.
instead of the Sam Raimi suit. Now, will it piss off Raimi fans? Yes, because they're probably thinking, "Ooh, it's in the Raimi universe side of the universe, the Spider-Man universe, and maybe that's what we're kind of going back to." We're not. Don't get your hopes up. I think they're going to try to push the Tom Holland thing because I think they're still trying to work out a deal. Sony is with Tom Holland. He has those 2 pictures left on his contract, I believe, that they have that extended deal they worked out with Disney, and
They're going to figure out that Disney pigeonholed them and they're going to have no choice but to work with Disney.
Sony is stubborn enough that I think they'll let it crash and burn and sit for a couple of years and then reboot it again before they give in to Disney.
And that's when Disney buys Sony.
Not gonna happen.
Give 'em
Not
a
gonna
couple
happen. I think what'll happen is Sony will actually just my little conspiracy theory. Sony Pictures is hurting financially. They will eventually go up for sale. They have been going around and around about going for sale for a few years now, and I think what will actually happen is somebody like Apple. I think it'll be Apple. Apple will probably, or I doubt it will be Amazon. Apple needs a big studio, right? I think Apple will buy Sony Pictures and then bring them in-house, and then the rights for Spider-Man revert back to Disney. Because if Sony is sold, the Spider-Man rights are not a part of that sale. They automatically revert back to the original rights holder, which is Marvel, ergo Disney. I think that's what's going to happen.
So essentially you're saying they don't have to spend the money. They just got to wait.
They just got to wait. It's a waiting game. It's a waiting game.
So
I
just
don't
keep
think
stringing
Disney
Sony
wants
along,
to spend that
make
money.
sure that they write them in that deal.
I don't think
Sony-
Disney doesn't need to buy Sony.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Disney doesn't need to buy Sony, and it's like, ugh,
well, the property.
why should we let them? Because it's like, how many movie companies do we still have left? Like, why would Disney? Every movie will be a Disney film, which
It's happening. It's getting there.
that's when I check out. That's when I'm done. I'm okay with some of them, but not all of them. Right? So my earnest hope is that eventually, at some point, Sony is sold to somebody else. And like I said, my bet is on Apple because they're gearing up. They got their Apple TV, they got their streaming now, and I think they want to get into feature films. So let Apple or somebody else like that buy them. The rights will revert back to Marvel, and then they can go from there and decide what they want to do with it, with the property, and fold Spider-Man into the MCU proper, right? I don't know, but
So, is this movie leading to Sinister Six?
There's an attempt. I think they're attempting it.
I mean, well, there's also a rumor that in Venom 2, they're trying to work out some details with Holland to get him in a cameo for 2. But there's also a rumor that he's going to be in a cameo for Morbius.
Yep.
But I mean, every time Sony puts out a movie, there's that rumor that Tom Holland's going to make a cameo.
Yeah.
And
The other rumor is, I completely blinked on his name. The character, the man that plays J. Jonah Jameson, is going to.
I saw that too.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
So it's saying that Jonah will be in it because that ties everything together, right? He was J. Jonah Jameson in the Raimi movies. Was he in the Alexander Garfield movies?
No.
Jameson wasn't it. J. Jonah wasn't in it.
I was gonna say J. Jonah wasn't in him at all.
And
I
then
don't
he
believe.
was in the Marvel.
He was in the
MCU.
Toby and the.
But so the MCU is the latest, and the reason I think that they're going to replace the Raimi Spider-Man on that poster with Holland is because JJ said that Spider-Man's a murderer because he outed him as Peter Parker and said that he murdered Mysterio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
At
was
the
the only
end
reason they
of
showed
Far
it.
From Home.
I think that was the only reason.
So I think that they're going to say it's Holland, and now it's rumored that J. Jonah Jameson is going to be in Morbius as a cameo. So that's how Sony is going to try to tie together their Spider-Man, their Spider-Verse with the MCU, because that's part of the deal that they signed.
Is that they get to use it.
So they get to kind of reference things that happen in the MCU. So I think what is going to happen is Sony can reference those things. They can't call the other characters. They can't talk about Iron Man. They can't talk about Cap or X-Men or anybody else that Marvel owns, right? They can only talk about Spider-Man. Then it'll be like the Netflix shows where they referenced where they reference the event.
Did you see that they had a back shot of Venom, and Venom did have something to do with the aliens coming through in the Battle of New York too? I was read something on that recently too.
See, they.
But didn't you see at the beginning they said from the people who brought you Far From Home?
Yeah, like they did it.
Yeah,
I
Far
know,
From
right?
Home
Get
and
out of here. Kevin Feige ain't doing Morbius. Kevin Feige and his crew are the ones that brought us Spider-Man, Homecoming, and Far From Home. Sony didn't do that. They just taking credit for it because they paid for it.
Exactly.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons, thank you. I was like, there's a J in his name, and I was looking at it earlier, and I know who J.K. Simmons is, and I just blanked on it when I said it. So anyway.
There's also Tenzin in the core of the.
Really?
That I did know. That I did know.
Yeah. I can hear it now, yeah.
Now, did any of you notice the shot for shot? They paid homage to the comic, where when he showed his teeth and everything, he looked over his shoulder like that. That was a specific homage shot to the comics.
It's about time Sony tries to do something that's comic accurate. I'm a big fan of respecting the source
That's a
material.
burn.
I agree.
Respect the source material.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, I get it. Wolverine doesn't need a yellow and blue suit because, I mean, he's only like 5'3". He claws and he's angry, hairy Canadian dude, and he looks stupid. I get it. But the brown and black suit looks pretty awesome. Do the brown and black suit. Do something else. There's a reason why the Fox went with the black leather X-Men outfits when they did X-Men back in the day, because the comic book outfits, they're kind of like, I don't know about this dude running around with yellow underwear on with spandex on. It just ain't gonna work.
But
The
those toys
MCU
also suck though.
those toys did suck, but the MCU has found a way to kind of bring in those outfits and make them look realistic and make them look good, and not like, oh, that's spandex. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
you mean like they didn't go with the Scarlet Witch comic book costume?
Well, there's rumors that that costume or a costume for the Scarlet Witch will show up in WandaVision.
Yeah.
Because she's going to need it in the new Doctor Strange movie, apparently. But it won't be.
Do you think that was the?
I'm sure it won't be like, the bathing suit, with the
Okay.
leotards. I'm almost positive.
Mainly, I was talking about.
The little stupid head
helmet.
crown thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Maybe that was the.
Very similar to what Amber Heard wore in Aquaman, though. It didn't look
She
horrible.
didn't look bad. That yeah.
Amber Heard. So
Thirsty.
He raises a valid
very
point, and as do you.
I do have one concern with the Sonyverse is now, are they just gonna go ahead and kill off Carnage in the Venom movie?
No.
Like,
No way.
I
I
would
hope
be
not.
utterly disappointed if that happened.
I hope
They're
not.
riding on the fact that Carnage versus Venom thing is going to bring them money, so I don't think so.
Remember when we thought that we were gonna get an X-Force movie?
Yeah.
That was such a great feeling, though, seeing them all just die coming out of that plane. It's like, oh wow, that's happening. Yeah, okay,
But
yeah.
okay.
also with that, do you think because they knew that by that time that Disney was gonna buy it all up, they were just like, oh, just fuck it. Let's just
I think they did it just totally misdirection, just to screw with people, and it was awesome.
I think so. I think so too. I think I don't know.
It was also Brad Pitt's way of being able to say, "Hey, I played a superhero."
Without showing my face, yeah, for a cup of coffee, because they didn't show my face. They just had me do a couple ADR sessions for voice, and that was it. They showed his face briefly when he was
Yeah, when he was
electrocuted.
getting electrocuted.
But that probably wasn't him. It's probably CGI. Even though we just jumped from Deadpool from
Sorry.
Morbius to Deadpool.
You just put a Deadpool in a Deadpool in this conversation. You just broke the fourth
Just
wall.
yeah, you just Deadpooled the conversation.
Deadpool. That's a coin that right there.
But going back to what we were saying, I'm a big fan of the source material. I'm a big fan of respecting it. I think there's a way to do it and modernize it. I just don't think Sony has really grasped that yet. Maybe working with Marvel, they have. Maybe Morbius will be amazing, but it's Morbius. I just don't care enough about the character to be like super excited about the movie.
If there's any one thing that they need to learn, that Sony needs to learn from working with Kevin Feige, is how to properly do fan service.
How to make
Yep.
a movie without Kevin Feige. That's what we need to learn.
No, and this is a topic that comes up in here quite a bit because a lot of people hear the word fan service and they think, oh no, that's just pandering. And no. With this type of genre, you need fan service. You've got to hit those buttons that people want hit for these movies. And like, well, yeah, that's pandering though. If you're doing that, no. It's knowing the source material and respecting it, and respecting that this is what the fan. You're making this movie about said superhero or sci-fi character because the fans know this character and want to see a movie about it. Don't change everything fundamentally about them.
You're just gonna
Stick
make
to the
them
source
angry.
material and throw in a couple,
Couple
whatever,
Easter eggs
underhand-
to make them. Yeah,
Yeah,
I completely agree with that.
I think that's one of the reasons, just to jump genre or jump fandoms anyway. Again, I think that's one of the reasons The Mandalorian works so well, is because of Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. They're all about fan service and giving us that fan service, but also giving us those, those comedic moments like the Scout Troopers punching Baby Yoda, which some people are upset. It was funny. I don't care.
I thought it was great.
I thought it was great. And then when they were trying to shoot the rubble or whatever and they couldn't hit it, I thought that was hilarious. So like those little fan service moments where you see a ship that you recognize in the distance, it's like, hey, that's Asajj Ventress's ship, or you see something else that
Yeah.
you recognize, or you get one of those Dave Filoni, all the Mandalorians flying in the sky moments, from Rebels, or you get something like that, or you get the Darksaber. Those are huge fan service
You
moments.
could tell that Filoni learned a lot from doing Rebels because, like,
Yes, but I'm waiting on him to get the confidence to take it all over. I think that's why he's not running the show now, and I think that's why Favreau's there.
yeah,
I think Disney has a plan.
I'm okay with them
And I
both
think-
doing it together.
Because
Though.
they
Yeah.
play off of each other.
Yeah.
Can I give a
think-
suggestion?
yeah.
Just to everybody listening, there's a website. There's a podcast called Cinephobe. That's CINEFHOBE. Amina Hassan on ESPN. He does a podcast on there. It's called Darth Amin's Rule of Two. The last one was with Freddie Prinze Jr. Phenomenal.
I have to check that out. Maybe not on my ride home, but I have to check it out.
Yeah.
So what was the topic that
They did the Rise of Skywalker, and they went in the Mandalorian, but because it's Freddie Prinze,
They do Rebels?
They did stuff on Rebels. He talked about conversations he had with Filoni as well as Favreau. It blew my mind. Like, I stopped working. Like,
I have to check that out.
I put my computer on Control-Alt-Delete, and I just chilled out for a minute because I had my undivided attention.
So now your boss knows you took time off at work to listen to a podcast. When those reports, you need those PTS.
It was
reports,
also the day before I
and
left on vacation, so we'll go with that.
So you took an extra day of vacation is what actually happened.
About 80
So,
minutes.
you know,
Well,
I need-
if you get fired, you'll have a lot more time to devote towards the show.
Oh.
And he'll live here in the store in the back.
Right.
Rich is like, fine, I'll find something for him to do. I got plenty of stuff still to unpack. So yeah, I think. But going back to what we were talking about originally before we.
Sorry, Dad pulled that too. Sorry. My bad.
Always. We can't have a conversation without one of us derailing it. We just can't. I don't know if Sony has the right mindset for the future of Spider-Man. I really don't.
They don't.
I don't think they figured it out yet.
Well,
Disney's just gonna sit and wait until they get it back.
Okay, but here's a hot take that nobody's gonna like. I liked Amazing Spider-Man 2. I liked Andrew Garfield. Yeah. I did.
So you're saying you liked Jamie Foxx?
No, but I did. No, but I did like the Gwen Stacy story.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
I agree with that.
I do.
Dude,
agree with that
was. I mean, when the web shot out, it was the dopest moment. When the web unfurled, like it was another set of hands reaching for her. It was such an emotional moment. Like, wow. Wow. I was rooting. I was like, oh, maybe the webs will catch her. Maybe they're going to film it different because it's a movie. And it didn't. Or it did, but it was too late because she already had reached like terminal velocity. Yeah. And basically him catching her is what killed her anyway. Like, she was dead either way.
And you're totally right, because people in the movie theater, when that happened, those that didn't know what happened in the comic book, they were like, oh my God, I can't believe
right? Yeah, and I honestly think that Andrew Garfield deserved another hot take that nobody's gonna like.
No,
I think he deserved a third movie.
He's got as much charisma as Hayden Christensen and Kristen Stewart.
I liked him in the role. He didn't bother me. He didn't bother me as Peter Parker at all. It was better than watching Tobey Maguire dance around in Spider-Man 3.
No, that is the best scene in that whole movie because he was delusional that he played that the way that it needed to be played and nailed it.
Some people's kids.
And this
Better
is
than a
why
pumpkin
we
bomb in the
cannot be
face,
friends
man.
anymore.
That is, I can agree with that though. Like, he was a nerd trying to be cool. He was
And
a nerd
in his
trying
mind,
to be cool.
he thought he was
being
nailing
cool.
it. And I thought that was great
It
that they
can't-
caught that on video because I find it entertaining.
All right, I'm going to be honest.
He played it right, but it was still bad.
And it was
still
bad.
That
It was
movie,
supposed to be
Spider-Man
bad.
3 was horrible. Horrible. Worst Venom ever. I don't care what anybody says. Topher Grace
Oh,
was
no,
the
no, no, no.
worst casting.
That's
for Venom.
horrible
Would have
Venom.
been a perfect Carnage.
I would
Would have been an
no.
awesome Carnage.
He would.
Awesome Carnage.
I would rather watch. I would rather watch Tom Hardy's Venom 1,000 times before I watch Spider-Man 3 one more time.
No, the only thing that I liked about Spider-Man 3 was him walking down the street. That whole thing.
That was it.
That was the only part of the
That was
movie
it.
that I liked. But he nailed that part.
Yeah, that.
You can't pick on the one part of that movie that I liked. I'm sorry.
Hated that movie. From Sandman on down, that movie just wasn't. Good.
And that disappointed me so much. I was excited about Thomas Hayden Church being in
I
that
thought he
movie.
would be-
He's like, oh, they got Noel from Wings. I love it.
And you know what?
And no.
Because when you look at the casting of Alfred Molina in Spider-Man 2 as Doc Ock, he was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I don't know if they can cast another Doc Ock and have it be as good. That was Spider-Man 2 is probably my favorite of the Raimi trilogy.
I agree with that.
I love
agree with that.
Spider-Man 2.
I feel it went the Star Trek route. It was like that. It was just that one movie that killed the whole thing. They had another. I don't want to
you know,
derail
like
again. They had that one movie. They were on a good arc, and then that one movie derailed the whole thing.
That's another reason we're getting the Picard show, but that's a whole different topic. Because Patrick Stewart's not happy with the way Nemesis left the franchise. He's like, we just didn't go out on a good note. He said that in an interview, but I thought was hilarious. So anyway, I would have liked to have seen Andrew Garfield maybe get a third movie to see what they could have done. I'll be interested to see. I'll still be there, when we get the next Spider-Man movie from the MCU and Kevin Feige and crew.
Maybe they'll bring Garfield in for a
They won't.
multiverse Spider-Man.
This is not the CW. We're not
Raimi.
bringing everybody in for a multiverse crossover. This ain't the CW.
Give
We
it
don't
10
do
years. They might do it in 10 years. They could do it in 10 years because they'll have five more different Spider-Mans between now and then.
How? Tom Holland might get a growth spurt, and then nobody's ever going to believe it's
He's
the same guy.
22, isn't he?
He's what?
He's like 22.
I was just thinking how much they like
a
rebooting him.
really late bloomer. Yeah, they do like
His
rebooting
voice is
stuff
gonna change,
way
and
too
then
He's
you're
much.
like-
like, change from this to this.
He can't be.
He can't be. He could be like Old Man Spider or something.
so-
like
You know, I want an Uncle Ben story. Never.
Why do you want a whole movie about some old black man that makes rice? Well, sorry. We're not talking about. I'm sorry. I'm hungry. Sorry, I'm really hungry. That long grain wild rice is so good. Anyway, I messed you up. I derailed your thoughts. he was like,
It took me a totally different way. Now all I can picture is Uncle Ben, like a box of Uncle Ben's rice. I can't. We're done. Thanks for watching, guys.
And remember, tell him F you.